Well, I one of those rough nights that the Sharks look like they had things going for them, and then it just gets away from them again. Sharks lose in overtime to the Desert Dogs, and Phil flippin' Kessel does it again. My goodness. Talk about transferring ownership papers from Hasso Plattner to Phil Kessel. We'll talk about that and more, and we'll have some things to say. We think this is Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Saturday night, May 8th, 2021. The San Jose Sharks lose in overtime. Hey, they got a point. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. As they lose to the Desert Dogs in the final time, they are division rivals. So welcome to Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. We invite you to be a part of the show and teal together and interact with fellow hockey fans around the world in our super chat on the YouTube page or the app. Of course, follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord, and of course, find everything at tealtownusa.com. You wanted us to embrace the 90s. I don't know if I could embrace the 90s more than this, folks. Sharks lose like they would in the 90s. Fired a 4-0 overtime to the Arizona Coyotes. Pleased to be joined in Candyland by Ian Reid. So, Ian, I hope you have something all nice and sweet for us to say.
I got plenty of sweet things to say. I see, just looking in the chat here, me and Big Bird going to throw down already. So that's a good start to the show. This is going to be a good show, isn't it?
It's going to be a good one. And usually, I know people are here for the Ian rants. I don't know. We might have some, we may not. But we'll get into it overall as the Sharks finish up their last game against the Arizona Coyotes. Again, the Coyotes will be going to the Central Division next year if everything goes back to normal. We'll see. But final time, we'll have a boatload of Desert Dog references. So for you people out there who are a part of the drinking game and are at home safely and not out enjoying the night, Desert Dogs, Desert Dogs, Desert Dogs, Desert Dogs. We are going to go off the hook with that. But first, the Coyotes kind of got off the hook a little early as Melnichuk,
yep.
Chuk.
Chuk.
So, all I'm saying is, Sharks, if you're watching, I know you like some of my ideas. All I'm saying is, time to break out those choo-choo whistles. Choo-choo! That's all I'm saying. But wasn't working out too well for Melnichuk early on in his first NHL start, as Christian Dvorak would, would get 2 goals in the first period, but they were, sandwiched between Rudolph's Balcers getting his 8th, Shelleski getting his 2nd assist on the night, and then Kevin LeBanc doing something good. So, not too bad for the first 20.
It was a fun game, right? Like, defense was kind of optional for the most part. Like, there's a ton of shots, a ton of just end-to-end rushes and like end-to-end goals, and like it was it definitely you saw a lot of obviously players. Like, it was definitely a Sharkakuda lineup, and it looked like on the other side they had a few guys that were just getting some experience as well, and the game kind of reflected that. It was pretty, it was a pretty wide open affair. A lot of back and forth action. It was a fun game. Like, we've watched worse games than this one this year for sure.
No, we've seen a lot worse. We've seen ugly ones get out of hand early. Yeah, they let in a goal the first 5 minutes, but they came back, and I thought that was nice to see. But like Zach is saying in here,
Mhm.
Timo and LeBanc showing up at the wrong time in the season. I mean, Myers had 3 goals in his last 3 games.
Mhm.
Which, okay, great way to pad your stats there, and you could say the same thing for Erik Karlsson, with the guys just showing up for garbage goals. But
What are you gonna do though? So we're gonna crap on
exactly,
those guys, and then we're gonna give Barabanov a hand job all show. Like you can't have it both ways.
wow!
Well, no, really though. Like
I just wasn't expecting
you
that
can't have it both
turn.
ways.
No, of course not. You can't have it both ways, because the thing is that you can give kudos for Barabanov for showing up for everything, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But then, you have Meyer and LeBanc.
Like Timo Meyer, at least like Timo Meyer, like that goal by Timo Meyer was the kind of stuff like that, that you want to see from Timo Meyer. It was the kind of stuff that when we were all super high on Timo Meyer, like that was the kind of stuff he was doing. So I mean, I'm not gonna get down on him for finally. Yeah, I mean, would you have liked to seen that earlier in the season? Sure,
Well, yeah.
but I'm not gonna get down on him for finally. I like you hope that all you can do at this point is hope that you can get guys a look and look at guys on different lines and stuff and try and get some idea what the hell you're gonna do with this team next year, depending on what the lineup looks like. I'm not gonna get mad. Like, I mean, I could come on here and I guess I could rant on how Timo Meyer sucked all year, but I mean, like, there was a lot of problems with the team this year, right? It's not like, oh well, Timo Meyer and Kevin LeBanc are the reasons that the team sucks. No, I mean it's the whole team sucked. The team sucked this year because the whole team sucked for long stretches,
Right.
and like, so I'm not gonna get mad when Timo Meyer does something finally that you think he's supposed to finally do.
Oh yeah, and I mean, good on him for finding his scoring touch. He definitely looked like Meyer. Definitely felt like he was feeling it tonight.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of his better games all season, in my mind. And LeBanc, I really liked his goal. He could have gone around. Instead, he kind of turned in, used Chikrin as the screen, but
hmm
and then
Can we
buried
can
it
we
past.
can we sidetrack for a minute
Oh,
here?
you can go right ahead.
Okay, awesome. So a lot of the I know. Oh, a lot of the chat. I'm seeing a lot of Tortorella talk in
Oh
the
boy.
chat. You guys think you want Tortorella until fucking Tomas Hurdle's on the fourth line for 6 games? Like, I don't think Doug Wilson would bring Tortorella here to begin with. And I'm not saying Tortorella is a terrible coach. I think there's a lot of things that he does well, but he's also, he's also alienated star players in things. So you guys think you're going to bring him in, right? And yeah, fuck that Erik Karlsson guy and fuck that Mark-Edward Vlasic guy, until it's a guy like Tomas Hertl, which we all seem to universally love still, right?
True.
Like, do you want to run like that? That would be my concern. Is like I like what Barabanov's doing right now, but I mean, look what he has fucking Patrick Laine doing in there right now.
Starting on the
Do you
fourth
really
line.
want that for Tomas Hertl? Because again, you can't have it both ways. Yeah, he might stick it to Kevin LeBanc, and we can all be super jacked about it, but it might also happen to Tomas Hertl or Mario Ferraro or right? Like you like it when it's guys you don't like, but are you going to be equally ecstatic when it's Tomas Hertl and Mario Ferraro in the doghouse and run out of town? Because that's what you'll get. It won't just be the guys you don't like.
But
And maybe that's maybe there's an argument for culture change there for sure. But like there's Tortorella comes with some positive. I'm not saying, again, I don't think he's a terrible coach. I just think as this team's currently constructed, he's not the coach for this team. Unless I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is because maybe he'll come in and guys like Vlasic will wave their no moves and you completely scorched earth the place.
but
Um, but I I don't think I don't see the fit. Now, maybe I understand why some people want him here. Again, it'd be cool for him to come and, kick the guy around that you don't like, but you know, it's not only going to be the guys you don't like. And then eventually it'll be like, again, Tomas Hertl on your fourth line or healthy scratched. And I would love to see this fan base react to that. Because I don't think we all just suddenly turn on Hertl because Torts decides he doesn't like him.
Right.
Now, maybe that doesn't happen, but it could.
I just can't see it. I really couldn't see it.
Yes, I want Torts back. I want Torts in coaching, and I want Jones not only in net. I want him extended so he's here as long as Vlasic.
Yeah, that
those are the things that I want for this team so desperately.
Yeah.
Now, the coach on the other bench tonight, Pashelka tweeted out something saying that it's not looking super positive for his future there. Obviously, new GM usually wants their guys. There's a guy that I would be interested in. I think he's done some good things to this, on that Coyotes bench. I'm not, again, is that the answer? Because if people are be like, well, the Coyotes aren't a playoff team either, Ian, what the hell? But I think they play with a lot more structure than the Sharks team plays with. I don't know, something to consider.
Was that it, Ian? All right. We can slowly move on, and we'll tease this and say, Aaron Portzline of The Athletic has reported that Tortorella will not return to the Columbus Blue Jackets next season. Their winningest coach in franchise history, let's mind you that, but also they are at a crossroads in that sense. Is like, do you give up Patrick Laine, who a few years ago was getting compared to being better than Austin Matthews? Obviously, that's changed drastically over time, especially with the trade, going into Echo Year's point. It's like, do you really want Hertl there? I mean, I'm sure Tortorella and Kane will get along just fine too.
Oh, they probably would. Thing. I mean, his systems stifle offensive players, right? And look at and I want to make something very clear here, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Ian says that Hertl is a great two-way center. He does. It's not like Hertl can't play defense. Hertl can play defense, and I'm not saying that he couldn't. I'm just saying that, obviously when Patrick Laine is a little more one-dimensional than Tomas Hertl.
Yes.
I want to make this clear, and I want to make sure that, because I know there's some people out there that are maybe listening after the fact now, or watching this going, well, what are you trying, why Hertl? And I'm not saying that they would have issues, but they could.
They could.
Right? I'm just saying, Tortorella has really rubbed a lot of his players the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And it's fine. And I understand that people want accountability and they want action taken, but they probably won't like it so much when it's a player they like. And that's all I'm trying to say. I just use Hertl as an example because Hertl seems to be the only guy on this team that everyone still loves.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And that's the only reason I use Hertl as an example, because everyone else on the team, you'll get mixed camps. But Hertl and Ferraro, those are guys that we all still love. They're still gold to us. And that's all I'm saying.
And that's the thing, they're going to be fan favorites, and then there's going to be your anti-fan favorites, Erik Karlsson. And the thing is that, some guys will be rubbed the wrong way, and the others will be, ain't care. So that's where I see it, but I don't see, if you make a coaching change.
And that's the other thing, right? If Doug Wilson makes another coaching change,
right,
the third in 3 years, maybe he shouldn't be the general manager anymore, because how do you not get that right after 3 tries? Right? Who else in this league would have the carte blanche from ownership to just fire 3 people to do the exact same job in 3 years? I'm not that's the reason why I think it's kind of a moot point, because I don't think Bugner's going anywhere, because Doug Wilson can't fire Bugner now without putting the magnifying glass squarely on himself.
Right. And this is his fourth head. This let's see, McClellan, DeBoer, Bugner. If you were to fire Bugner, I mean, he would be bringing in his fourth head coach in his tenure. And like you
Yeah,
said,
because Ron Wilson wasn't his coach, right?
right, right.
Right. Okay.
Ron was brought in when Dean Lombardi was still around. So if you want to
Yeah.
say you would be bringing in his fifth, technically, that's another thing, and that's kudos to you for having a heck of a job of getting of staying in the same organization, let alone as a general manager in the NHL, to hire 4 or 5 general managers.
Yeah, you can't fire another coach. Like if Bugner wasn't your guy, he shouldn't have been your guy coming into the season. You can't fire him at this point. Like, I mean, and that's not me giving Bugner a vote of confidence here. Those are just facts.
Yeah.
You can't, like, Doug Wilson cannot fire Bob Bugner this summer and not, like, if he fired Bob Bugner this summer, like, the only way Bob Bugner should get fired is if Doug Wilson is following him out the door, up the ladder, or whatever the hell you want to do, right?
Right.
Because that's the reality of it. Like, you can't. How does he get to do that? Like, he doesn't. That's the answer.
Right. Kevin, I thought Lombardi was fired when Sutter was fired. No. Sutter was fired near the end of November of 2002, and he brought in. He was actually co-coach with Cap Raider for a game. So, kudos to Doug Wilson for being the only undefeated coach in Sharks franchise history. But he also brought in. Dean Lombardi brought in Ron Wilson. In December, and he was fired in March of 2003.
Yeah, I seem to remember
after
that's
the deadline.
how that went down. Yeah, that's my recollection of it too.
So that's what you will be looking at indeed for that. But we'll get to that, because I do want to pick your brain on a lot of things tonight, Ian. Before as you make your swan song on After Dark here for the season. Let's emphasize for the season. We aren't losing him to NBC Sports unless there's something you need to tell us. Okay, I guess not. All right, let's move onward to the second period now. With that, Timo Meier, like we said, Timo Meier showing up. With a nice power move, nice feed from LeBanc. Good to see those guys getting together, doing something good to make it 3-2. A little over 5 minutes into the second period. What did you think of Timo tonight, and some of his playmaking abilities?
I like Timo. I mean, again, like, I get the frustration. Like, where was this earlier in the season? It's weird. Like, I don't know. It's weird that you would think this line would be a recipe for disaster right now. Considering, like, I was really, like, when I saw the line, I'm like, oh, they're gonna put Marleau up there, and Marleau's gonna center those guys. Well, rip. But no, actually, it's been pretty good. Surprisingly good. And I don't know if, like, it's weird because, like, I don't think Marleau's been particularly great these last 2 games. And I don't think he's been particularly good, but that line has played really well. And I don't know if it's just because those guys, like, both him and Rudy Balcers are taking more, are trying to carry more of the load than they normally would with Couture on their line.
Right.
I'm not sure what it is. Like, it's a really weird thing. But both of those guys, I thought their last 2 games have been really, really good.
Yeah, and they looked good. I think the last 2 games in this series, they've looked good. The Hurricane Bonov line, kind of took a little bit of a step back, I thought, in this series. I think a lot of people have been putting more focus on them, if anything, and it's good to see that the other ones would be, the other guys are stepping up. So
Yeah. Again, Barabanov had another great game. Like that guy. That guy needs to be on the roster next year.
yeah,
There's no way around it. And again, I don't think it's going to cost you a whole lot to do either.
no,
Like, I really don't think like this is. It's going to be an easy. It's going to be an easy, cost-efficient signing that you hope. You just hope that you get this consistently going forward. If you do, I mean, what a snag.
yeah. Hashtag no free ads, but thanks for joining us, Carl's Jr. Appreciate that you like our great stream. You and Kevin can discuss on why the $6 burger is more than $6 in our chat. We're good.
Yeah,
Just
I can't
just keep it classy. So Meyer makes it 3-2, and then Jan Jenik, who got his first NHL goal on a empty netter, has to me, what a shot this one was. I got to the
Yeah,
point,
and I don't think it was intentional because of the way it knuckled into the net. But
right,
I mean, like if it was intentional, it is a hell of a shot. Like it's a hell of a pick.
right.
For a shot. Um, yeah, I mean it was probably luck, but I mean they don't ask you how, they just ask you how many.
Yeah, and I liked uh I like how why is my mind going blank here for our goaltender, Melnichuk, to to kind of like try to use his head. It's like, let me get my head over a little bit. Oh, damn it! Come on.
I mean, he had the rest of the net. Like there was, like I said, if it was intentional, it was a hell of a shot.
Yeah. So, no, Carl's Jr., you're fine. Just enjoy the stream. We
No, you're good.
appreciate. You're good. But Yannick makes it 3-3 after 40 minutes, and you're going in like, total of 58 shots. We are just going to town. This could be like that St. Louis game, 7-6. And then everything changed in the third period because everybody started to coach a little bit more again. However, Connor Garland kind of mirrors Timo Meyer's power move. Gets by a late breaking Erik Karlsson, who kind of lets him go Ole right to Melnichuk and gets past him to make it 4-3. I didn't like that one a bit, and I don't think that was Melnichuk's fault per se.
Yeah, I mean, look, Melnichuk wasn't great tonight. I mean, he did face a ton of shots. You know what? Here's the thing with Melnichuk, right? Because I know a lot of people earlier in the chat, it's like, oh, well, got to keep Martin Jones, clearly. No, you don't. Here's the thing, right? Like Melnichuk, I didn't really have much expectations coming in. So I had no expectations. He didn't hurt any expectations I had for him. He's been okay for the Barracuda this year. Right? Like it's still his first year in North America, first year playing on North American ice. Like he's going to need time. Like that he wasn't coming into Jordan Binnington this shit. He needs time, right? And so it's fine. Like did I think that he should have started that he's done anything on the Barracuda worthy? Just and I've only seen him on the Barracuda very limitedly. I should point that out as well. Kevin Lacey's going to be far more versed on him than I am, but based on our conversations, like I just didn't have high expectations for him starting this game, right?
Right.
And I thought he was fine. Like he was fine. Was he great? No. Is he the starting goalie next year? No. Is he the starting goalie never? I'm not there yet. It's one game, right? It's one game. I'm not worried. Give him another year. Give him another year, right? And we'll go from there, and then we'll start getting more concerned. Like Kozenash hasn't been super impressive either. Let's be honest. Does that mean you can't buy out Jones and find a stopgap?
Right.
No, I'm not saying that you have to. No one's saying that you have to get rid of Jones and throw these guys to the wolves. You don't have to do that. Can Kozenash be the backup next year? Yeah, I think so. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Mm-mm.
But, okay, so Melnichuk isn't the guy. Isn't the guy today. Okay, that's fine. I'm not worried. Like, let him let him develop more. He needs more time in the oven,
Right.
and that's fine. Like, it's fine. I don't think so. Let's circle back to Jones now. So neither of these guys can be the starter next year.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Does that mean you keep Jones? No. Why? Like, what are you gonna do? Get rid of that cap hit and find a stopgap. You can find another guy that can play the goal. Look at the Sharks aren't going back to the Stanley Cup final next year. I hate to burst your bubble. So you don't need to solve again, I've said this on the last one, I've said this 100 times. The Sharks have some problems, but you don't need to solve them all at once. And there's not one thing that's going to make it all better. But just because one thing doesn't make it all better doesn't mean you should do nothing, because doing nothing will definitely not make
No.
anything better.
Mm-mm.
You have to, you have to start working on the building blocks to move to next year. Well, the foundation's rotten, so let's start taking those pieces out of the ground. And Jones is the easiest place to start.
Well, in the middle of that, we had a number of comments. Deuces Shula saying Melnichuk playing his first year of North America hockey. We don't know about his potential for at least another year, which is essentially what you were saying.
Yeah.
But considering what some people took, Satan saying, "Wow, Ian hates Melnichuk," confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed. Ian hates all goalies. It doesn't matter who you are. If you are a goalie on this team, I hate you. If
You're not too far
how
off.
many years have we been doing this now? How many years have we been doing this now?
This is full season number 6.
Jesus. Yeah, I could see why you would get that from the show. Ian just hates goalies.
Well,
No,
if they can show up and be fairly decent, it'd be nice.
I mean, who were the goalies when we had the show though? Yemi,
Stalock.
Oh, Alex, I love Alex Stalock. What are you talking about?
Martin Jones.
Martin Jones. And I wasn't always like. It's funny because like I thought, wow, Ian. I haven't always like a lot of people like, oh, Ian's just always hated Jones. It's not even true, because like I've gone back because for those that don't know, we're bringing back Teal Town glasses, and to prep for that, I went back and listened to other shows, and shockingly, I didn't always hate Martin Jones. I expressed concerns about Martin Jones on a previous show, on old shows, but I was never like fully, it took me a couple of years to get fully off the Jones train. Like, but I mean, that train's so far off the rails now. Like, if I had my way, Jones has already started his last game in Teal. Like, he doesn't play against Vegas because who the hell cares at this point? In fact, I would play, hell, I'd play Melnichuk again against Vegas just to drop the tank in. But I don't know.
Shaka GRC 53 asking, who does Stalock play for right now? The Oilers? Yes. Although I know he's had some heart issues from COVID-19.
Yeah.
So hopefully, hopefully it's going to be okay. And Alden's saying there was one that you did like, Optimus Rhyme.
I loved Reimer. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
James Reimer. I love James Reimer. Dave Victoria asked, but if you know you're going to suck next year, doesn't it make sense to keep Jones another year? So, I mean, you could. I understand that argument. Sure. I understand that argument. I do get it. I just think that if you are, I try to look at it from all angles, right? So now I am 3,000 miles away from the team, so I am obviously not a season ticket holder. I don't know how you sell tickets next year with Jones and net. Like, you have to start making moves that show that you are trying to rectify the situation, and riding Jones another year, just from that perspective, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. Like, you want to see that the team is doing something to say, yeah, this is screwed up and we need to fix this. If they just ride the same team next year, I don't know how you sell tickets on that.
Agreed. Agreed indeed. That's the catch, which I get what you're saying, David, but at the same time, you need something. And the thing is that you got to see a little bit of what the Sharks have. Is it all NHL ready? No. Can they be serviceable? Maybe. So
Yeah, I think from like I do get that I do get that argument though. Like I do get that argument of, if you're gonna suck anyway, why not? And I agree. Like you could get a little bit less of a buyout penalty. I don't know how you sell that to this fan base.
yeah, I mean it'd be tough. It would be tough. And another thing too is from Erik Karlsson, PJ48, saying Karlsson just needs to act like a veteran leader. You can't take shifts off when you make $11.5 million per year. Drew Amanda quoted Daryl Sutter a couple of games ago. Hard work is expected. And I think that kind of sends the sentiment to all the Sharks.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to show up every game. And there were times this season they didn't.
Yeah, and so from things like from that perspective, I understand that the God, we must bring Tortorella in crowd. I get it from that perspective. Like I said,
Right.
it's just you got to be careful what you wish for there, because that can go 100 different ways.
And he will be 18 years removed from winning a cup. And
Yeah.
what is he? And he's going to be, when he comes here, he'll be at least 7-8 years removed from from playing or from coaching in a Stanley Cup final. And the thing is too, there's some frustration with the fan base, and it's not just us. I mean,
Oh, no, for sure.
Jim A and FLA. I mean, you look at the comparison, and while this is kind of a point blank comparison, it's a true one. 5 years ago, Sharks versus Penguins for the Cup. Sharks now bottom 5 teams. Penguins still finishing top 5. And they went through a general manager change mid-season as well.
Yeah, I mean, they still got 2 really, really good players that are still like,
they're pretty good.
They're pretty good, and they're not like they're not in their prime per se, but they're they're not 39 either.
Right. Although
they're not 40. They're not 41.
Yeah. And
right.
That's
like
that's
I yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, but that happened. Like this was gonna happen at some point. Like this was always the destination. It was just they got here way sooner than I think a lot of us expected them to. I'm sure there's some people that called it right when it happened, that this was gonna completely screw things up. I thought there would be some winning before losing. I didn't think we were gonna just fall off a cliff in 1 year.
Well, the other thing too, Ian, is that how many years, and you've followed this team as long as I have. How many years did we hear? 09, it's time to blow them up. They're gonna have to trade Thornton, Patty. They got to get rid of Nabokov, and the next year they go to the Western Conference Final. Oh, okay, we got to get rid of Nabby. Okay, they bring in Nemo. They still get to the Western Conference Final.
Well, I mean,
they extended their window, for almost a decade.
I still stand by, like, when they let Nabokov go, and I know it wasn't a popular decision. Maybe it was at the time. I don't remember. But like the money Nabby wanted was ludicrous for a goalie. Absolutely ludicrous for a goalie. So it was good that they let him go to they made the right move there. I still think, like, again, as much as I am not a big fan of Doug Wilson, like, I don't think that Doug Wilson should get to unmake this mess that he's made. But because I don't have confidence that he can do it. Like I don't. You look at what this. You look at the mess that he put this team in, and I don't think that he should be the guy to undo it. I don't think, because a lot of his more recent decisions haven't been great. Like, yes, there's been some. It's not like everything's all bad, right? Like, you can't. Everyone's like, oh well, what about that? That Barclay Gaudreau trade, that was pretty good, and getting Barabanov. Like, yes, there's still things that that he's done particularly well, but I mean, like, overall, this team is a disaster, and a lot of it's his doing.
I completely agree. I just am not sure if he's going to get that I think he's going to get that chance. I don't know. The thing is, and Laurel brings up a point: how many fans will be checked out? I mean, you have COVID. You are out of the playoffs 2 years in a row, and up until a couple of weeks ago, you weren't able to bring in fans. This is kind of, I mean, it's a little bit of a concern because you do need to get an incentive for season ticket holders to come back.
Yeah, I think that when things can go back to somewhat normalcy, and I feel like we're on our way there, right? Like with the rate of vaccination and everything else, like I feel like we're there. I that might help the Sharks a little bit actually, although maybe it doesn't, because I think you know what, I don't know. I'm so on the fence about this, but I don't know the sporting landscape down there. Like I don't who's good right now.
I
I
mean,
guess
the Giants are in first.
baseball's doing good, right?
Yeah, Giants are in first place. The A's have been in a good run. Hell, the Earthquakes are at the top of the standings in the MLS. The Warriors still have their brand new building, plus Steph Curry, dropping threes, like crazy.
Yeah, but they're bad, right?
They're clinging on to getting into, I guess, what they're doing, a play-in system
Okay.
in the NBA. So honestly, right now,
Yeah, but
the the
they're not like champion team still, right? So
no.
maybe that benefits that, because I think there's gonna be an element of like when things do finally open wide open again, when it's safe and whatever, that I think that might help the Sharks a little bit because people are just gonna want to be out again, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
So that maybe that helps the Sharks a little bit, and and based on like the time that they play too, like the season that the time of the season that they play, it's not like the Warriors are like this championship juggernaut team that everyone wants to go to, right? So I don't know, maybe that helps them, but I I don't think you're selling out. Like I
no,
still
no.
think you're going to be a long way from selling out.
Yeah, no. I don't think you're going to be selling out games like you used to. I think you're going to have to find ways to get people in the building, though. I think the marketing team is going to have a summer to think about what they can do with it, and honestly, they need it. They really do, because again, I know I'm seeing no foosball talk. I heard football's the devil, or oh Jesus, we're talking soccer. But the thing is that the Giants are in first place. They have a beautiful ballpark. The A's are just a scrappy young team. You could talk to Brody about how great the A's are, or not.
Right.
The Niners have a beautiful stadium, and look like they're poised to make a run at things again. Uh, the Warriors have a gorgeous new arena,
Hmm.
and the Sharks are the Sharks
It'll be
right now.
interesting, right? Because I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to need to um there's a lot of sports need to recoup some money right now. So I'm curious to see what it's going to depend on a lot of different factors, but I feel like there's going to be a contingent of people that are just going to be so happy to just do this again that and maybe will that carry them through a whole season? No, obviously not, absolutely not. But um but I think it will but I think it'll help at least in the short term. And then after that, I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to be I don't know what, like, again, I don't know the business side of things. Like I don't know what their season ticket numbers look like. So I don't want to talk out my ass here. But I think that the Sharks have always had a strong contingent of fans. Is it going to sell at the arena? No, but I still think they'll do well. And I think, again, like I said, people are gonna, when things can open up, and I feel like we're getting there, then I think there are people that are going to take advantage of that, and that honeymoon might wear off really, really quickly. But you know, but still, I mean, it's not like sports are the only people that have been hurt by this. A lot
Right.
of regular people have been hurt by this, and a lot of those regular people buy tickets. So it's going to be interesting to see what the season ticket renewals look like, and what things look like going forward for sure.
I'm really, really curious as to how that's going to go around, especially, and I know Kevin mentioned it, the construction that will begin soon, with the Downtown West project surrounding the building that the Sharks have been pretty much against on. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, again, I'm not going to speak to that because it's not my experience. I can't tell you how that's going to be or how that's going to affect things or whatever.
So, to finish off the recap of the game, Barabanov, finds an opening and gets it past Hill to tie the game at 4-4, and then Phil fucking Kessel. Yeah, I swore. Phil fucking Kessel scores his 10th goal against the Sharks, his 20th of the season. Half of his goals came in 8 games against the Sharks. Are you freaking kidding me?
But we should bring back Martin Jones, guys. Just letting you know.
So the Sharks lose this one 5-4 in overtime. The tough part is, I know, Kevin, you're super upset about the point because that moved the Sharks ahead of LA and Detroit because of that point.
Yeah, I mean that sucks, right? The thing is LA has 3 more games to play, so that helps us, right? The odds of them getting a point in the next 3 games probably pretty good, so that'll help us out a little bit. Detroit's done, so that hurts. So Detroit obviously can't get any more points.
Right.
Columbus is done, so they're stuck in their spot. So I mean, the best that can happen for the Sharks now is that LA picks up another point or 2, and the Sharks pick up no more. But the other teams that are, Ottawa, Ottawa's a team that could fall behind the Sharks, but they have, again, there's 2 games left there, so hopefully they pick up another point and the Sharks don't pick up any more.
Yeah, I mean that's the key issue here. The Sharks have 1 game left Wednesday night, and please, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We will have our season finale. I might beg and plead Ian to come back on for one more, one more night to go over this season. But looking at the standings right now, if I can get him back on here, the Sharks have 1 game left. Let's go league wise.
And Ian wants Melnichuk to burn. Put him back in it against Vegas. What could possibly go wrong?
Vancouver has 7 games. I mean, if they can get 8 points, they can leapfrog the Sharks.
Yep.
In there, so be interesting to see that one. New Jersey has 1 left. Calgary has 5.
Calgary has 5 games left. Yeah, like not all is not lost. Like, yes, getting a point tonight sucks. Don't get me wrong. Like, it absolutely sucks. But yeah, I mean, look at, like, it's all is not lost. Calgary could go ahead of the Sharks. LA could go ahead of the Sharks. And then they're sitting pretty again, and no one cares about Arizona because Arizona doesn't have a draft pick.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about that. So let's do it right now. We'll get it out of the way.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go for it. All right, let me reset here. So we're resetting. We're gonna hit the
Tankathon. I know what we're doing.
It's the old simulation. There we go. What do we get? We get second night in a row, folks. I know it's a simulator, but there you go. Sharks win the draft lottery. That's the second night in a row. Yes, let's go. All right. Rob Iman with the Super Chat donation. Of course, if you use the Super Chat donation, it goes to support the show. It really helps us out with keeping the costs down out of our own pocket. So, speaking of other drafts, what sweeteners do you feel comfortable sacrificing for Seattle to take Brent Burns?
I don't think the Sharks are going to expose him. That's my thoughts. What sweeteners do I feel comfortable losing? Oh, I don't know, because you're obviously gonna have to give up I don't know. I mean,
Do you give up like a low end prospect and like a second round pick to go over there? I mean,
Oof.
do you give like
No, I don't know.
some guy?
I, I think it's moot point because I don't think the Sharks are going to expose him.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to get exposed. Would I expose him if I was GM? Yes. Would I throw a sweetener in to get rid of him? Gosh, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, you're probably gonna have to throw away a pick, probably a second. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I mean, you don't give up your first to do it, obviously. Um, Prospect in a second. Yeah, that probably sounds about right. What prospect do you throw that way? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
thing.
Like there's certain guys that I think are absolutely not absolutely untouchable, but I'd be more annoyed to see go than others. I just and I don't know. I don't know if Seattle. Yeah, I feel like if he was exposed, Seattle might look at him again. Like, well, if you go back and you look, if you know, go Google Vegas's expansion draft, and I know Laurel's gonna get mad because I'm gonna talk about Vegas for a second, so I apologize to Laurel. But, and I've said this 100 times because it's the truth. Like, Vegas didn't have to eat bad contracts to make floor.
I think they took one, like Clarkson, right? Ian. Uh-oh. Hang on, Ian. I think we lost you for a moment. All right, Ian, are you
Am I
still
back?
there? Yeah, you're back. Go ahead and say what you were
Yeah,
saying.
I'm
My
here.
bad.
Sorry, Skype's been a douche night. I'm just saying that Seattle, Vegas didn't have to eat a bunch of bad contracts to hit the floor. They'll hit the floor naturally doing the expansion draft. Um, I don't know. I will be shocked. Like, I'm really curious. I think that's the thing I'm most looking forward to this offseason, the expansion draft, because I think it's fascinating. But I'm really curious to see who the Sharks expose because I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. I mean, it's gonna be. We're either gonna be surprised or we're gonna go, interesting. Really,
Yeah,
not expecting that. Laurel saying he AOL'd because he said Vegas. Ha.
it's true. I started talking about Vegas and my Skype connection says, "Oh, F you,
Yeah, no kidding.
Vegas talking guy." Um there was something in there. Deuce Shoeless, would you give up 2 second rounders for them to take Jones? You could offer them the moon and they're not taking Jones. Like, no one's taking that contract.
Right.
Yeah, they're not going to take that contract. I don't think they're going to take even if it was to take the contract and buy him out, but I don't see that. I don't foresee it.
Yeah, I love how on the front page of Cap Friendly it says popular buyouts, and you see guys like James Neal, Anthony D'Angelo, and Mikko Koskinen and Parisi. I mean, Virtanen for many reasons, Louis Eriksson for many reasons, and then of course Martin Jones and Jeff Skinner. Like, yikes.
Yeah.
So we steer away from all of those folks. So we are at 20 likes. Since I think AJ has taken a night off. Lucky him. Let me see if there is a Venmo donation. I don't see Jerry in the chat, so I'm not sure.
Dun.
We might be on the outside looking in, so we'll see. I kind of wonder. Let's see. Look for Teal Town, USA. One day ago, yes. Thanks, Laurel, for the new mic cord, by the way, for that. I don't see one from Teal Town, so you're kind of SOL, but I know we cut into it, but yeah, again, John Tortorella likely not to return to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yes, and check your Venmo. Okay. Well, apparently Jerry's personally, you know,
He's fun. He's fun to reach around.
he's funded the reach around so much this season. I mean, Jerry. I mean, a lot of our viewers. We appreciate each and every one
Absolutely.
of you because we can't do this without you. And the other night, or last night, I should say, we hit.
I'm gonna do it.
You gonna do it? We
Yeah.
had 2,300 subscribers, so thank you very much. And please, please, we ask you, tell all your friends, even if they're not Sharks fans, to join us. We'll be doing a lot, I think, during the off season for the Sharks, and we'll definitely be doing something for playoffs. I know we love doing our prediction shows.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know there's 2 more Puck Knowledge episodes, including tomorrow night. Like Ian said, now Ian, is it going to be on this channel?
Yes.
Okay, Teal Tinted Glasses will be on this channel. I mean, you love to see it. I'll be begging Ian, when he's bored, if he needs another person, I will pretend to. I love the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, we can Cam Ward this bitch all the time.
Absolutely.
So, with that, Ian, it's all you, bud.
All right. Rangers beat the Boston Bruins by a score of 5-4. Rangers, riding out the string. Buffalo holds Pittsburgh Penguins to a single goal, 1-0 over Buffalo. Pittsburgh wins. Ottawa beats the Winnipeg Jets 4-2.
Yes, that's
New York
it.
Islanders take care of business against the New Jersey Devils, winning 5-1. Washington beats the Philadelphia Flyers in overtime 2-1, and I just think it's awesome that like every game that Tom Wilson has played since that crazy stupidity in New York, it feels like he gets hurt every game, and I think that's just karma. Karma's a bitch.
Can I add one thing about that Ottawa game?
Yeah.
Tim Stützle, hat trick.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Tim Stützle, hat trick.
Warning, somebody might be pressed on Technologist tomorrow night. We're just saying. Go on.
Oh, man. Florida Panthers beat Tampa Bay 5-1, getting ready for their playoff series, which I think is going to be great. I love when like regional rivals get to play each other. I think it surprised me that it doesn't surprise me because the Panthers have been garbage for the most part. But like for the Panthers and Lightning to be playing for the first time in the playoffs, I think that's really, really cool. Columbus tried to help the Sharks, and then the Sharks screwed it up, beating Detroit 5-4 in overtime. The Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Montreal Canadiens by a score of 3-2 and clinched the first place in their division. Montreal, again, just going to completely back into the playoffs and then watch them beat the Leafs or something stupid like that, because that's so NHL, right? Like I don't remember a team ever backing into the playoffs as badly as Montreal is right now.
I'll say the 09 Sharks.
Yeah. Nashville 3-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes, clinching up their playoff spot. Unfortunately, Dallas made a hell of a run to try and get back into it, but considering everything that Dallas went through this year, I mean, it's obviously disappointing for them going from being, the Western Conference champion to not making the playoffs this year. Like, that's obviously a disappointment. But I think considering all the things that happened to them this year, not a bad finish. They finished pretty strong. And it'll be interesting to see how they look when I assume the divisions will realign to their normal alignments next year. But stay tuned. So yeah, unfortunately for the Dallas Stars, they are out. Nashville is in, and that's also probably a preview of their first round matchup. So, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, Carolina Nashville out. That would be the first round matchup.
I have my standings in league standing right now, so I'm gonna screw up. Minnesota beat the Anaheim Ducks 4-3 in overtime. Again, Vegas 4-1 over the St. Louis Blues. And Colorado beat LA 3-2. And also, Connor McDavid gets his 100th point because Connor McCheat code, as the Edmonton Oilers beat the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 4-3. Connor McDavid, like, it's just stupid how many points he's put together. And the thing that really blows my mind about it is like the company he's in, and scoring is not like it used to be. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, back then, like, yeah, there was a little bit more wide open, like in the 80s, but like the 90s, it was jet ski across the blue line. And of course, the game that we all watched, the Arizona Coyotes beat the Sharks in overtime by a score of 5-4. 5-4.
Yeah. I mean, Connor McDavid. Wow.
Rob saying Bugner will be brought back as a lame duck coach. I'm pretty sure Bugner has another year on his contract after next year.
I'm I believe that's correct. Of course, the terms of this contract are not disclosed.
But I'm pretty sure he got a 3.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know. And again, a lot of things going in is that you see what the Panthers have done after Bugner, and it just makes you wonder at times. But Panthers are loaded up a little bit more, I think, than the Sharks. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. They're also they're an incredibly well coached team too. Like Quenneville's a great coach.
And DW passed up on him. Okay, gotta let that go.
Yeah, like if they're like there was a guy if you want to like that is like a big name guy, retread guy that I would be like, yeah, bring that guy to San Jose. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Obviously he's not coming, but
No.
But yeah, of all the coaches like past and present that I wish the Sharks would have jumped on when he was available. He's definitely up there.
Yeah. No. There is one more game we can talk about.
Ooh, Barracuda!
And that would be your San Jose Barracuda, who played at T-Mobile Arena today, taking on the Henderson Silver Knights. That's right, the Knights had a doubleheader of themselves. No confirmation if anybody complained about the ice in that one, but the Silver Knights beat the Cuda 5-3 in this one. Ozzy Weisblatt with a 2-point game. He got a goal and assist. So, kudos to him on that one. But 3 straight goals, early on in the game kind of did the Cuda in on this one. Danny O'Regan getting another goal against the Cuda. It's like he has a vendetta of it. So it'll be interesting to see as the Cuda get set to prep for the playoffs as they begin a Pacific Division tournament. I believe that's starting on the 18th, if I'm not
Yeah, I'm
mistaken.
excited for that, actually.
Yeah, I am too.
That'll be fun.
We'll see if we'll do. We may break out Barracuda After Dark. We'll see
Ooh.
if, especially if they advance into the past the play-in round. So we'll see where that goes.
Hot Wheels 84 with like the comment of the night. Did Kessel buy Jumbo's house since he owns San Jose?
Boom.
There you go.
Wow. You're not wrong. At this point, you are not wrong.
Walter Johnson wasn't there better coaches than Bugner available last summer? Yeah, I think so. I would say yes.
Yeah, I mean Gerard Gallant is still standing out there. Got a team to the Cup final. His first year as an expansion head coach. I mean there's that. There's Torts. I mean you could even. I mean, do you attempt to even consider if you're going to make a GM move? Do you talk to the gentleman that was fired from the Rangers just a few days ago? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, again, I've said this a bunch of times. I think if the only time you really start to think, unless they just promote Doug Wilson out of his job and then promote one of his dudes to be the GM and work underneath him, I think if Hasso wants to put some heat on the front office, he brings in a guy parallel to Doug Wilson. So I don't know. Like I still, if they do something this summer, that's what I would like to see them do, because I don't think Doug Wilson's going to get like removed or promoted or anything like that. So I think if you're going to do something, that's what you do. You bring in a guy that's not a Doug Wilson guy to be like your president of hockey ops or something parallel to Doug Wilson, and then go from there.
I concur with that. I mean, if you're gonna make a change, you gotta make a change. Don't make anything that's parallel per se, right?
Well, but you don't have what are you gonna do? Like Hasso's gonna completely gut the front office? Doesn't seem like it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. Does Doug Wilson, does he own any other teams? Like, do we have a precedent? That's the problem, right? Like,
Right.
we don't really have precedent for this. So I don't know, based on what we've seen so far, that seems to make the most sense to me, because he has guys on the business side.
Right.
Right. And I know they've made some moves there, but there's always been like I kind of use the business side as an example. And like, wasn't Becker and Totora basically parallel position?
Yeah, they were co-presidents for a bit.
Right. So, and that's what I'm basing it off of. So I think if he followed that, um, if he followed that on the hockey side of things, like that's what I would see.
Yeah, and let's be honest here. You know, the Sharks have had a three-headed general managership for early on, so it wouldn't be unprecedented for sure. So with that, we'll bring a close to this one. In case you missed anything and you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and of course, always available at tealtownusa.com. Ian, it's been a pleasure, my friend. You've been on here a boatload of times, along with Al, Landy, and Mark's been jumping on. Felix has jumped on, but you've kind of been the main guy. So
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Oh, okay, fine. I won't go that far. Jeez, just trying to give you some kudos.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez,
I don't know. I don't. I've done my part. I feel like I've done my part. Well, I don't know. I don't want to pretend I'm the main guy, because I think there's a lot of like, to be serious for a second here, and I do want to thank everybody for that has taken the time. I mean, Erik said we've been doing this for 6 years. I know I've been here on and off for those 6 years, but I mean, it's super awesome to come on after a game and look at the number of people watching the show and interacting with all you guys on Twitter and everything. Like, I love it. It makes this totally worth it. I mean, this is a passion project. Let's be honest here. Like, we do enjoy when people support the show monetarily, but we ain't doing this for the money, folks. Let me let me
That's
make
for
that
damn sure.
we are definitely, we don't do this for the money. I mean, we do appreciate all the donations and the super chats and everything else, and it does help the show. It helps pay for the overhead and stuff like that. But this is a passion project, and the fact that you guys continuously come along for the ride, and listen to what a dork like me has to say on the internet at 2:18 in the morning my time. Like, it makes it all worthwhile, and I really appreciate all you guys, and I love the support, and I love talking with you, like, again, interacting with all of you guys on Twitter, and the fact you guys keep coming back just warms my cold robot heart. It really does, and I can't express enough of the how much that I personally appreciate you guys coming into the chat, and it's like, okay, let's get the Ian rant out of the way. And tonight, wow, I think it was like the first show in a long time where I was like, shit, like there's some pressure here. What am I gonna rant about? I'm not like, my rants are they're genuine, right? Like, it's not like, this isn't like a character that I play. This is just Ian talking hockey. So sometimes, like, the rants are a little hard to come by because there's nothing to rant about, and that's fine too. I just got to finish here quick, and then I'll let you shut down the show. Obviously, this is obviously my last After Dark show. We have one more game. I believe it's Al is going to be on with you, so please, obviously, tune in for that. I do want to thank the other guys that do this show so that I can have a somewhat normal sleeping schedule. Like, super appreciate all of you guys. And I think everyone's done a hell of a job this year. But again, just because the games end doesn't mean things end at Teal Town USA. Pretty soon. I don't know when for sure, but we're going to nail down a date. I think we've been working on stuff. Teal Tinted Glasses is going to come back. It's going to be right here on Teal Town USA, right on this channel, right on this podcast feed. And we are going to bring that back, and I think we're going to change things up a little bit on it from what we did before, but I think you guys will still enjoy, and we'll figure it out. It'll be a work in progress, I think, for a few episodes until we get really comfortable with what we're doing. But I'm really looking forward to doing that, and I'm looking forward to seeing all your lovely faces in the chat for that too. And yeah, and then obviously me and Erik will probably come on here and just just to talk, because that's what we do sometimes, whether it be like a playoff prediction or just, let's just talk about nothing.
Th- that
It'll happen.
that's the thing is that while this has been, for a lack of a better term, grind. I mean, this takes a lot out of us, and I mean, like it's 11:22 out here. Normally, and I'm on vacation this week, but
Mhm.
normally I'm going to bed at like midnight, and I have to be at work at 5 a.m. So 4:30 comes really quick, and for you, bud, 2:23 right now in the morning as we're recording this live. It takes a toll. It's not easy, but I appreciate the dedication that you've given us over the years, and the passion, and the people love it. And I speak for everybody here. It's a ton of appreciation. John, thank you very much for the super chat donation.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Ian, Erik, AJ, Landy, Kevin, Laurel, and all Sharks fans. And that goes for Jerk, Rocket, and the whole crew here.
Yeah, Mark, AJ, Al, Felix. I mean, just a lot of people put a lot of time in to make this work, because without, like, it doesn't work without a lot of us. That's just the nature of it.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, without it really takes a village to keep this place running, and everyone's contributions are super appreciated. Thanks again, John, thanks so much for the super chat again. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this might be my last show on After Dark for the year, but it certainly won't be the last you see of me.
Oh, no.
This summer. I'm sure we'll be around, and then before you know it, it'll be October, and God willing, everything's back to normal, and
Yeah.
and we'll get right back to it again. So, again, just thank you, Goal.
And it's going to be a short off season. I mean, let's be honest
Yeah.
here. We're going to finish up May 12th. We're going to have Pucknologists Sunday night, 7 p.m. like we usually do. Wednesday, we'll finish up the season for After Dark, and then Pucknologists will finish up the season on their side the following Sunday. And then, June 10th, I believe, is the draft lottery. And then late July, we'll have an expansion draft. We'll have draft coverage. We will have awards coverage if somehow some Shark gets nominated for that. Then free agent frenzy. and
Sorry.
AJ and I will be breaking down the schedule the second it comes out. So we'll be around. We will be around, doing everything we possibly can. Oh, my contact's losing it. I better get out of here. But honestly, Ian, thank you as always.
Yeah.
You are branded, I guess you could say, the angry Canadian robot. But we know you have a good heart all around. So
I try.
yes. So now Ian's gonna go sleep in Candyland apparently, and
Yes, I need to sleep, because I do have to, like, I don't work early, thank God, but I do work tomorrow, so I cannot Discord tonight. I apologize.
So, but the conversation will now will now move to the Discord channel, and we'll be back with you tomorrow night for Pucknologists at 7 p.m. with AJ, Rocket, and Jerk, and then Wednesday night, excuse me, the season finale of After Dark with me, and along with Mark and Al, and maybe even, who knows, that the last show is usually a free for all, so be on the lookout for that. Tell all your friends.
Maybe I'll peek in quickly, but I make no promises.
All right. I appreciate it. And until tomorrow night for Pucknologists at 7, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night for Pucknologists, Wednesday night for the season finale of After Dark. Good night, everyone.